You're the host. I'm the guest.
Oh, I appreciate it.
But okay, I will.
Mr. T says, I'm the host, he's the guest. I think it's the other way around. Welcome, everybody. Hey, Mr. T, how you doing today?
I'm good. I'm here.
That's good.
How are you?
I'm here as well, man. I think it's almost Friday. It's almost the weekend. Whew. But we have holidays coming up, so it's every day is going to be busy until the new year. And then the new year comes around, and then you have resolutions.
Yeah. Strange holiday. Everybody's ready to spend money, but there's nothing to buy.
How about a lump of coal?
It's like, I'm going to, throw a big party in this restaurant. They're like, sir, we have no waiters. Well, okay, I'll bring my uncle.
Here, I'll give you an IOU.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
So say if, let's do a hypothetical. Somebody wants to buy a first home buyer. What are some things, because I actually have not purchased a home. I have lived in many of homes, but I've been a renter.
Uh-huh.
And I will be purchasing a new home soon. So what
Are
would
you
be
a
some
millennial?
advice? No,
You're
I'm not a
millennial.
millennial.
Oh, you're
No,
before
I'm
that.
Gen X.
Yeah.
X-Men.
Just as bad.
I know. Sorry. It wasn't us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what is,
that's a
so
good
what are some
subject,
things?
actually.
Because a lot of people have never met a realtor. And they definitely don't understand the terminology, the jargon per se that goes on in the office of a real estate office. So first time home buyer, checklist. What's a checklist they need to do?
Checklist. Okay. Check your credit. Okay. So first thing you should do is really, even a year or 2 or 6 months, whatever. First set a goal. Say, hey, by 2023, like set a date way in advance that you're going to buy a home. Go to a lender of your choice or somebody recommends to you, that just make sure they are good. Some lenders can take your hand and walk you through the whole process.
A lender, someone on the street that just lends out money? Is that?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that
that's a term. No,
Is that
the
the
lender, basically the bank or the mortgage company. Okay, so here's the thing. Just because you bank at a certain bank, like Bank of America or SunTrust or whatever, it doesn't mean that you have to go to that bank to get a mortgage. They like you to, but you want to find somebody or a firm that does mortgages. Like Bank of America, people say, I have 5 accounts and I'm going to walk into the bank, and which is fine. Some banks, they do have a mortgage officer there. But they're 2 different entities. It's Bank of America Mortgages, and then there's Bank of America Banking. They're really separate entities.
See, I didn't even know
like
that.
There's SunTrust Mortgage. So a lot of people think, I'm just going to go tell my banker, and the banker's going to say, hold on, let me get you to the mortgage department.
It doesn't work like that.
So they could be night and day. I've had people, I deal with this such and such
Great
bank.
people.
And I'm using these names as an example. But yeah, I mean, Bank of America, I've gotten mortgages with them. They were great, and a lot of people don't like them. I do all my banking with Bank of America because they're everywhere. That's the only reason I do it. Even if you're out of the country, guess what? There is a Bank of America something there. So anyway, picking the right lender, and then the loan originator, which is the loan officer. So the terms are loan originator. That's the person that actually takes your application and works with the mortgage department and gives you a list. Then there is a loan processor. So you got to go through all of this. Make sure your credit is set, because when you have a good credit score, you will get a better interest rate. If you have a bad credit score, you might not even get the loan. Or if you get it, it's going to be 5%, 6%.
It won't make sense.
And then some of them will charge you points. You want to ask your loan officer, like, what is a point? So I remember when I bought my first house, I had no clue. They said it's 13% with 2 points. I'm like, 13%? Wow, what a great deal. This was in the 90s. I literally paid 13% interest rate. And the points, you're like, yeah, with it, it's called a discount point. So you buy the rate down.
Understood.
So basically, if it's 5%, they say give us 1 point, which is a percent of the loan amount. So if you're borrowing $200,000, that's $2,000 that you have to pay to bring that down like 0.5%.
Oh my goodness.
So anyway, get with a good lender that will walk you through the process, runs your credit, reviews your credit with you, and says you need to pay this off, go get a letter from this. There's a stain here on your credit. Somehow you missed a payment 5 years ago, and there's putting a ding in your credit.
Yeah.
Call the credit bureaus or send a letter, get that removed. So we've done that before with people. They come back 6 months, a year later, they're approved. So what happens is like putting the horse before the cart.
I was going to say, is there a lot of
you
times
start shopping for a home without an approval?
I was going to say, how many times do people come to you ready to go, already have a new job lined up, and they're like, we need to buy in the next 3 months, and they haven't even gone through the process of checking the credit.
Yeah, and a lot of people do know where they stand with their credit.
Yeah.
But some of the first-time home buyers maybe have no clue on where to start. So then the down payment, a lot of them think, oh, okay, I'm going to put 5% down, barely. They don't realize there's another 5% in closing costs, 3 to 5%. So here you're buying a $300,000 house. There's $15,000. Then you got to have another $10,000 for closing costs. Sometimes we ask the seller to contribute, but that's all too complicated right now. But what you want to do is you get your mortgage set.
Now, would you recommend seeking out a couple different lenders to get a different rates? Do they offer different rates according to
like
bank
I said,
to bank?
this is what you got to do is, and the rates are tricky because some of them say it's 4% with 0.5 point or 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to know that means you got to pay to get that lowered. It's lower than the last one, but they didn't charge you anything.
For that, yeah.
So you got to be very careful. But you can research for a good lender, or I can always recommend 2 or 3 lenders. So that's where it starts. Get your credit, be ready, know how much you need to buy a house, what you're qualified for, comfortable. They might qualify you for more, and you might not be comfortable with that payment.
Yeah.
So you want to get a comfortable zone. Once you get an idea what you can buy, then we could start emailing you home listings. Home listings means homes that are on the market.
Mm-hmm.
A listing is a home that's on the market.
Gotcha.
So a lot of people might not know what a listing is.
Yeah.
So when we list a home on the multiple listing service, we call it a listing. And that's a home on the market, okay? So we will send you some active homes that are on the market as they come on the market. We could email them to you. We could put you on an automated listing card. My realtors out there that are listening to me, that's for us is ABC, but for a lot of buyers, they don't know these terms. Listing card, MLS. MLS is basically a membership we pay to the board of realtors. It costs, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 to be a realtor. To have access to Supra, so you can open the lockboxes. You have to go to these classes. You have to join the board, pay a board membership, pay a multiple listing membership. So but that gives us access to this platform.
MLS,
And in this platform, all the realtors log in, log out. They check all the new listings. We can set up customers to get like a shopping cart. instead of a shopping cart. You said, Lee, send me all the homes in Port Orange between 250 and 400. I'll set it up with your name, and when I put one on the market or when I list one, as they say, you will get that in your
notification,
listing cart, which is your shopping cart. And you can delete it, you can keep it, you can review it. It's wonderful technology.
Yes.
So that's one thing. It will get your feet wet. It'll give you an idea what the homes are going for. It lets you go drive by the properties. So you're kind of getting an idea.
It gives you what is called a comparable.
Yeah.
Within a certain neighborhood, you're trying to purchase a home.
Yeah, and again, all of these is going to find a good mortgage, a lender, and then a good realtor that's going to stick by you and just little by little get you there. And a lot of people are, it's a busy world. So this listing card helps. Because when you see something, you could walk into an open house, make sure you announce you do have a realtor that you're working with. So we have a very competitive market. Everybody, works hard to get a buyer or a seller and retain them.
Yeah.
And that's becoming challenging because we have every other door is a realtor in there. So we appreciate them giving us a chance, sticking with us. And then as a buyer, I'm going to tell you this beautiful thing. You don't pay a thing to have somebody like myself to represent you. You get like 20 some years of experience for free because the sellers pay our fee. So how it works, guys, again, I'm talking from my rookie, you said first time, is basically some people think, I have to call every sign myself. No, you pick out like 5 homes, you make a list, you run it by your realtor that you trust and you work with. So what do you think? And whoever that is will look those up, says, well, this backs up to an alligator pond. This one backs up to a, sewage pond. This one is beautiful. It's on the ocean. I recommend we go see these 3. If you still want to see these, you like alligators, we can go see them.
Check them out. I've lived on an alligator pond.
and being an experienced agent, hey, where the alligators are,
right,
where the flood zones are,
And see, that's an important thing in
school zones.
In today's market, everybody is so conveniently just accessing Zillow, which is great if you're just in the beginning stages, I would assume. But as the closer you get to actually laying down some cash and making a dedicated purchase, you're going to need a realtor.
So, I'm going to, again, if my realtor buddies are listening, this is probably nothing for them, but I say this. You need a professional on big decisions with life, such as buying a home. This is really a big decision.
Yeah.
I just had a lady that said she's going to move here. Well, I sold her house actually 2 years ago. She moved to Orlando.
Okay.
I wasn't there. She went and bought one. She bought a house, was full of mold, all kinds of issues. She's widowed, she's single, she calls me, she's crying. So she puts it up and sells it and moves to Melbourne to rent. And now she comes back here. She goes, I want to move back here. But she calls me and says she ended up going to South Carolina. And I heard she's buying and she bought. She called me yesterday crying. 20 days.
Not another.
20 days. She bought a house. It was a steep. There's issues. Microwave isn't working. There's a gas leak. The oven isn't working. She twisted her ankle. And she's putting it back up for sale and coming back. But, when she hired me here, I sold her house. I got a top dollar. And she moved on. And now she wants to come back here. So I set her up on the listing card yesterday. Yeah. And I gave her a new lender. I told her, calm down. It'll be fine. You're not going to lose money. The market is hot. Sell that house and come back. So again, it's going to a professional that knows what they're doing, that care about you, that are not just there to make a quick buck.
Yeah.
and you're gone. If somebody who truly cares is what you want, that says, hey, you can purchase here. If this is the home you like, I'm going to tell you, like, these are the things I see, but you are the boss. If you want that house, you get that house. But, you want someone to say, hey, stop, look at next door, how they keep their house. Look at the cross street, look at this side. It's not exactly...
It's like buyer awareness.
Yeah, buyer is so... And you're in a flood zone. Your insurance is going to require flood insurance, and it could cost you X amount on top of your mortgage.
Yeah. Well, I do remember you used to tell me, JD, I don't sell a house. I sell a home.
Home, exactly.
And that's the reason why, it's important to get a professional.
Yeah,
they
so
pay
if
attention to
you
detail.
want to get your tooth done, you go to a dentist. Like if you want to, and you want to go to a dentist that's pulled many
very
teeth
well
before.
practiced, right?
So I said that to somebody. So, you want a surgery, you want to go to not a brand new surgeon just started. You're the first one.
Veterinarian for that.
Yeah. So you want to, and again, that's all there for you, free of charge, really, because the seller pays our fee.
Pay the fees, yeah.
Now, being a seller is a totally different story. We do prepping the home and marketing the home, presenting it on the MLS, which is a platform where all the homes get listed on, which carries on to Zillow and Realtor. That's a different program, but
what if,
it's a competitive market right now. As a buyer, it's a major heartbreaking
now, what if
hassle to buy a home. But
what if your new client comes to you and he goes, Mr. T, my sister approached me and said there's a Fizbo down the street. I said, I don't play Frisbee. And she's like, no, it's Fizbo. Yeah. And I still don't know. Fizbo? What?
Fizbo,
can you explain? What is that?
Yeah. Fizbo is when some people, they think, that I'm not going to use a realtor. I'm going to do this by myself for sale by owner.
For sale by Fizz.
For sale by owner.
Got you.
But 90% of the homes, 95% are sold by realtors.
Right.
They end up listing with a realtor.
And I believe a lot of them try to do that to save a penny here and there.
Yeah,
right?
and
that's fine.
We don't blame them. And it's, they're protecting their equity or whatever. But, again, remember that song? I work hard for my money.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I work hard for my money. So we are, there's been times, we go and they mispriced their home. It's either way too high or way too low. It's not staged. It doesn't look right. They get a buyer and they're interacting with the buyer, and the buyer has no clue what they're doing. The seller has no clue what they're doing. Of course, the power of internet now, there's companies out there, they do discount brokers. All I can say is you get what you pay for, and
True.
we learned that. I'm still learning that. At this age, I'm still learning, just do things the right way, and it won't backfire on you. You're going to get an attorney, get the best attorney. You want to get a lawyer, get the best lawyer.
Yeah.
If you want to go to a doctor or surgeon, you do that. You got to do your study, your homework on this stuff. This is major.
Yeah, because it's the largest purchase you're going to make.
Yeah, here you're putting $5,000 down deposit, $10,000. You could lose that.
Yeah.
You could lose that because if you don't follow the contract, you lose your deposit. They could even come after you and sue you for damages. This business seems easy. And everybody thinks it's just a piece of cake. You just made 5%. No, believe me, we've been through.
There have been transactions I can imagine that
times
where you list a home or a property, and it just sits, and you're putting hours, months, and there's really nothing wrong with the property. It could be the location. It could be a lot of things that determine why that's sitting there, but. Then on the other side, you have a property you put up in an afternoon, and by morning time, you already have bids on it.
Yeah.
So it fluctuates, but definitely get a professional, because otherwise you're going to be...
Yeah, I can say it's just that it's a big maze, okay, between your bank, wanting all this information from you,
Yeah.
and then the house you're finding to buy, and the location, and the school zone, and, condition, inspection, appraisal. There's a title work survey. I mean, it's a lot of things that's a lot of pieces to this puzzle that all have to come together for you to have what we call a closing.
Yes.
So that's when it's yours. So
I've always heard my friends who are home buyers say, I'm going to my closing. And at first I'm like, okay, what are we closing?
So, and the lenders are pretty tough now. I mean, you have to show proof of everything. So that's another key. Again, going to your bank, to your mortgage officer, sitting down, because they like paper trail.
Yeah.
The bank requires paper trail of everything. You paid your rent? Show me. Mm-hmm. They want cancel checks. They want leases. They want a letter from the landlord. They want to show on your bank statement that, yes, every month, look, he took $1,800 out, $1,800 out, $1,800. And he has to correlate with what the landlord sends in.
Yeah.
Because the landlord sends in exactly what payments they got and when. So
because if they're going to loan you $500,000.
Yeah, and as soon as the lender finds there's one little, off information, then they're going to dig deeper and deeper. So you just want to be very forefront with everything.
Yeah.
Up front, first day.
And I can imagine there's been times where people get into the buying process and even the seller's excited, everybody's excited, and then a red flag just pops up.
Something just pops up out of nowhere.
So be diligent, on your credit history. I believe, from what you're saying, that's catapult of everything, because if that's not in place, nothing will follow.
It happens every day. We put homes under contract, they go to the bank, and we think that the bank already did their homework, and sometimes the bank didn't. They just gave them a quick pre-qual. Without really checking. So a lot of sellers now require a pre-approval. Some places still call them pre-qual, but they have approved them. It's just a term, pre-qual, pre-approval. But, if the bank has seen your tax returns, checked your employment, bank statements, have run all of those, your debt to, loan to debt ratio, and all of that, then you should be good. There shouldn't be any surprises. Then all of a sudden they find a child support payment going to Chicago. You didn't put on the application.
Whoops.
Or some alimony or a IRS lien on your head.
Yeah.
And you didn't mention it.
You're disqualified.
Because they're going to see everything, believe me. Now they have this fraud report that they run on people. I mean, it finds everything. So, anyway, that's
Good luck trying to hide anything, basically.
Yeah, one of my buyers, they actually made a mistake. We did a fraud report, and it shows that she's on this other house. She's like, I'm not on that house. That's my dad's house. They're like, nope, she's on that house.
Mm.
She's like, no, I received my mail, my mortgage statement there, but that is not my house. So the report messed up. It says it's a new thing. It's actually a forensic fraud report that they run.
Because there's been a lot of title theft.
Yeah.
Digitally.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's good to protect the buyer and to protect the bank and all parties involved. But I imagine it could be surprising at times too.
You want to be forefront, put everything on the application.
Yeah.
So, this way you don't waste your time or anybody else's time. If you're not qualified, you got to go back, take care of that, do that, then come back.
Yeah, it is, because it'll make the process much smoother. It'll get you to find that home much quicker. Again,
you can contact me anytime if you have any questions. Consider me your...
if at any time you find yourself struggling with the process, beginning from A to Z, call Mr. T.
386
299
8989. Anytime, day or night.
We'll be here.
Anytime, seriously.
Thank you all. Have a great one.
Thank you.